Hello, you guys. How are you? We are so excited that you're here today with us. We're going to talk about 6 blogging lies that you've been told and the truth that actually works. So, we're not just going to tell you these lies. We're going to tell you, here's the truth. If nothing else, that's what Kelly and I are definitely known for. We're going to give it to you straight. Blogging is a very rewarding environment, but it's also incredibly challenging, especially in 2025. I don't think I have to tell you that, right? And there's no shortage of bad advice out there. We hear bad advice all the time. People come to our consulting program and they're like, well, I've always heard this. Well, that's not working for you. That was bad advice, right? Today, we're going to cut through that noise and we're going to deliver real truths to you that are going to help you build a blog, a blogging business that thrives.
So here's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn 6 common lies that can derail your blogging journey. You're going to learn the truths that counter these myths and empower you to make informed decisions for your blog. And you're going to learn practical steps to avoid these pitfalls and set your blog up for long-term success.
All right. So you may be wondering, well, what am I going to walk away with? We know your time is valuable and we want to make sure you walk away with something. So here are the 3 things you're going to walk away with: a new perspective on blogging decisions like hosting, collaborations, and content choices. Someone just messaged us the other day asking about hosting. And I'm like, you know what? We got some hosting stuff coming up. Number 2, clear strategies to grow your blog while staying focused on what truly matters. We want you giving deliberate and intentional attention to the things that matter. And number 3, tangible action you can take right away to elevate your blogging game.
So what is their aha moment? This training is for you if you've ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure of whether you're doing the right things as a blogger, right? We're here to help you avoid the common traps so that you can move forward with confidence. Are you ready? Let's uncover these lies and replace them with the truth. Before we get started, Crystal, you want to give them their...
Yes, your word of the day is niche.
Niche.
Niche. How do you say it? Yeah.
I say both. I'm like niche or niche. I don't know which is right.
Right. And I just want to make sure you spell it NICHE. You have to spell it correctly. Text that word to 251-644-6701. And then the system will automatically send you a worksheet that's going to help you with today's training. Okay. If you text that number and you don't get the worksheet, that means that you've D&D'd us, which is okay. Just don't do it again. So we're going to tell you, if you want our printables, how to get them. If you did D&D us, maybe it was an accident, text the word start, count to 5, and then text the word niche, and then it'll send it to you. Don't text a sentence. Don't say, hey, I think I messed something up, because the automation won't work with that. Just the word start, and then wait, and then the word niche, and you'll start getting your worksheet. All right, so we're going to talk about these lies. We're going to go backwards this time. Usually we go 1, 2, whatever. We're going to start with number 6. Lie number 6, cheap hosting is okay to start with, okay? There's this myth out there. People will say starting with the cheapest hosting is going to save you money and it's never going to hurt your blog. The truth is, cheap hosting often leads to slow site speeds. It leads to downtime and poor user experiences. These issues can seriously impact your blog's growth, but it can also impact your relationship with Pinterest and Google and all the places. Did you know that? So tell them their steps.
So I do want to say a caveat. If you don't know if you want to blog for a business, of course it makes sense to have free or cheap hosting. You don't even know if this is something you want to do. Right. But if you've decided this is a business, then it's time to move. Okay. People say, well, how long can I stay on it? Well, when you decide it's a business, when you say, okay, yes, I am going to stick with this, and yes, it is a business, that should be the first thing you do. Not make a pretty blog. So what are your actionable steps? Choose reliable hosting. You need to research hosting providers with a strong reputation for speed, uptime, and support, and look for plans that include features like SSL certificates and regular backups. We recommend Jay at Tech Surgeons. Don't get turned off by the 1990s look of his website. He is not a design guru. He is a tech guru and a hosting guru. So we recommend him. We also recommend Agathon Hosting. start small, but start smart. If budget is a concern, go for a more affordable option with scalability. And number 3, avoid common pitfalls. Stay away from hosting companies known for upselling, unnecessary features, or poor customer service. For example, GoDaddy, great for domain names. I would not go with them for hosting.
Right.
They're going to try to upsell you all the things, just like you see them do when you buy a host name from them.
Exactly. So, example, imagine spending weeks and weeks writing content that is amazing only for your site to crash once it finally starts to pick up on traffic. So investing in quality hosting from the start is going to prevent these future headaches. And I can tell you that about 15 years ago, I almost lost my entire business to a bad host. They have so much more control than you know. Like, had to call the fire department and do a welfare check to actually get him to respond to me, and then got out of there as soon as I could. Like, we moved everything and got it with a good host. When your site is down, it impacts your relationship in all the places with other bloggers. You can lose pins and you can completely damage your relationship with Google. Don't do that. All right. What's line number 5?
Line number 5, cheap email providers are fine for beginners. So the myth is you don't need to invest in a good email marketing platform early on. But the truth is that your email list is one of your most valuable assets, and settling for a subpar provider can absolutely limit and hinder your growth.
Yep. So here's what you need to do. Number 1, you need to start with a solid platform. Look for beginner-friendly tools that grow with you, like ConvertKit or MailerLite. So when you start with ConvertKit, for example, also now known as Kit, you pay for the amount of subscribers that you have, right? It's a scale. Okay. That's great for a beginner. And they often have free tiers to get you started. So some of these will give you 2,000 free subscribers, 500 free subscribers. The goal is to grow that. The more subscribers you have, the more traffic you're going to get, right? When it's done right. So look for reputable, quality companies that that grow with you. Okay. Number 2, avoid overcomplicating things. Don't overwhelm yourself with all the complex funnels early on. Yes, we believe in funnels. You do need to get your funnels set up, but not in the beginning. That is not what you need out of the gate. Instead, focus on building a simple welcome sequence and offering a lead magnet. An opt-in is really what we call it. Then, as time goes on, you can build those simple funnels. And number 3, prioritize deliverability. Choose a provider known for delivering emails to inboxes and not spam folders. That is so important. There is no reason to pay, even if you're only paying $50 a month for your ESP. If it's sending it to spam, that is a waste of your $50.
Right? Yeah. So here's a good example. Think of your email list as a foundation of your blogging business. It's a smart investment. If you do this smart investment now, you can ensure that you can nurture your audience effectively, even as your list grows. I'm going to tell you, because the cat is out of the bag and Crystal knows this already. I am focusing in on YouTube right now. And one of the very first things that I did was plan out some opt-ins for my YouTube channel to grow the list over there. Not just rely on people liking and subscribing to my YouTube, but having my email to drive traffic back to them. And that is first before I ever recorded a single video for this new direction that I'm going in. So it is important. It is really one of the main things that you need to do, especially in today's volatile state. I think you need to really start thinking of your email list as your business and everything else as ways to drive traffic to that email list.
So I want to stop you and say, you said this new direction that I'm going in. I just want to clarify that, because we are still bloggers. We are still working on our blogs. We are always focused on growing other facets of our business. And that is literally what we are doing with whatever we're working on next. Those are all pieces that support our blogging business, right? So you really need to be thinking about that as well. This is not us saying, we are both still bloggers and we both still maintain a lot of page views to our blogs, right? Like, our blogs are full-time business.
Right. Agree.
But the climate is changing, right? And we need to be in all the places. So, all right, line number 4.
Right. It's like an author is still a book author, even if they have an Audible.
Right.
right? Okay. Numero
Yeah.
dos tres cuatro. Numero cuatro. You don't need to be on all social platforms. Which is interesting that this is the myth is it's fine to ignore certain social platforms when you're starting out because it sounds like we are arguing something that we say. Okay. But the truth is, you don't have to be active on every single platform. You do need to claim your brand name and you need to have some kind of presence there. Okay. So you need to claim your name so that you can secure that identity. Otherwise, you end up like Kelly and you have Kelly Miller and 3 boys and a dog and mom of 3 boys. Like you have all the things because you didn't do that in the beginning because you just did what they gave you. And then when you decided it was time, somebody had stolen your brand name, right? So make sure to claim your brand name to secure your identity and then have some kind of presence. Okay. You don't have to put all your eggs into it. You don't want to turn it into a full-time job and try to grow every single platform, but you don't want it to be ignored either. Okay, Crystal.
Yep. So here are the actionable steps that you're going to take. Number one, you need to secure your handles. Create the accounts for all of the major platforms that are out there, like Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn. Even if you know you're not working on growing TikTok right now, or even if you know that you're not working on growing Instagram right now, you still need to secure those platforms. Number two, focus on 1 or 2 to grow. Each of them alone in and of themselves are full-time businesses. Plus your blog is a full-time business. You need to choose the platform where your target audience hangs out and focus your energy there. We're going to grow the others later, but right now we're going to focus our energy on the platforms that make, or the platform that makes the most sense. And what's the third thing, Kelly?
And then you want to ensure brand consistency. You want to use the same name, the same logo, the same bio, all of the same things across all of the platforms so that you can build recognition. Here's an example. A new blog about personal finance might focus on Pinterest for driving blog traffic and Instagram for audience engagement. The other accounts just kind of stay, automatic, right? There's nothing really happening there, but they don't want it to be archived because there's nothing happening, right? So just some kind of quick automation, feed your RSS to it, whatever needs to happen so that you can preserve your brand identity and just kind of let it do its thing in the background.
Yep. All right. So let's move on to line number 3, and that is you're too small to collaborate with other bloggers. The myth is you need a large audience before you can work with other bloggers or influencers. But the truth is every single blogger starts somewhere. Every blogger starts with 0, and building relationships early is what's going to help you grow. Collaboration is about adding value and not about audience size. Because honestly, the people that you collab with, we've done collaborations in a lot of different ways. There was a point in time where we collabed where all the people in our collaboration group, actually, we're going to talk about that, I think, in one of the next steps. You go ahead.
Find a tribe. Join Facebook groups, attend virtual networking events, or comment meaningfully on other bloggers' posts to connect with like-minded creators. Start small. Pitch guest posts, co-host a webinar, or participate in a blog hop to establish credibility and to gain exposure. And number 3, add value first. Focus on what you can offer your collaboration partner, whether it's expertise, content, or enthusiasm. So what Crystal was starting to say was the very first time we ever did this, we were very tiny. Like we didn't really have anything except that we knew SEO and we knew Twitter. We had 20 and 30,000 Twitter followers back when I had more than the coach at Alabama. Okay, like Nick Saban. I had more Twitter followers than Nick Saban. Like that was a big conversation in my household. Back when people didn't have that. Okay, that's what we did. That's what we did well. But Twitter didn't drive traffic and it still doesn't really drive a lot of traffic. So our blogs were small. We were able to partner with people who had bigger blogs, people who had big Facebooks, people who had big Pinterests later, right? Because we brought something to the table that was worth it for them to send and stumble upon. We did pretty good on stumble upon to drive traffic to our people, right? So don't think, okay, if I want to grow my Facebook and this person, I need to partner with people who have Facebooks bigger than mine, because that's not necessarily true, right? But also back to what Crystal was saying, everybody starts small.
It starts with 0. Right.
If you have 10 and Crystal has 10 and Sally Mae has 10 and Joe Schmo has 10, well, they don't all overlap. And right now we've got an audience of 40 people amongst us, right? Even if some overlap, we probably have an audience of 35 people amongst us, which is more than what everybody has individually. So, rising tides theory, right? Even though the 4 of us only have 10 followers each, together we can grow. And as I gain people, my people are going to gain people. And that's just going to continue to have us all growing.
Right. So you bring value, you bring something to the table. What is that? Right? Find your people. So here's another example. A food blogger just starting out might write a guest post for a large site or collaborate with other bloggers on a roundup like 10 easy weeknight meals. You've got content. How can you help others with your content? You have ideas. How can you help others with your ideas?
Yes.
All right. Lie number 2.
Lie number 2. This is a huge one. I say this all the time, and people act like I'm stupid. So we're going to tell y'all again. Lie number 2 is write about what you love. The myth is if you love it, others are going to love it too. And that's just not necessarily true, people, because you are not your target audience. The truth is, a successful blog combines your passion and your expertise with what people are searching for. So in other words, you've got to solve readers' problems to have an impact. And just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean that you are the authority on that thing. Mm-hmm. What are you the authority on? Not what do you like to do in your free time, but what do people come to you for? Mm-hmm. What kind of advice do you find yourself giving over and over and over to your friends? That is what you need to write about.
Yep. So here are your actionable steps. Number 1, find the sweet spot. Choose topics where you are passionate and you have skills and that audience overlaps there. Okay. What are you multiple steps ahead on? What are you guru on that
multiple steps ahead on
that you could help others with, right? How can you help solve someone's problem that's a few steps behind you with the skills that you have and the things that you're passionate about? Okay. Kelly usually gives the idea, we'll give an example of, she loves to read books, but she's not going to blog. She's not going to blog about that. All right. So number 2, validate your ideas. Use tools like Uber Suggest or Google's autocomplete feature to find out what questions people are asking in your niche. So go into Google and type in, recipes for leftover rice, recipes for what pops up, or leftover rice, what continues to auto-populate. Okay?
Or recipes for leftover.
Right. What kind of leftovers are people trying to get rid of? Okay. So what is populating? That's going to tell you what's popular. And then there are tools like Uber Suggest and the like, where you can get some ideas as well. All right. And what is the third thing that they can do, Kelly?
And number 3, focus on your authority. I talked about this earlier. If you're not a guru on the topic yet, you really need to commit to learning and becoming an expert as you grow. So the example is what Crystal talked about earlier. I love reading romance novels, but I have no desire to blog about book reviews for romance novels. Okay. Just not interested. But I could create guides and recommendations and quick reading lists. But I really think about, what was her name? Dana from A Slob Comes Clean. I don't know if she's popping into my head. I don't even know if she still blogs or anything. But
she has a huge YouTube. She has a blog.
So her whole shtick, way back when we began, when she began, way back when we were teaching on Google Plus, right? Her whole thing was that she's messy. She's slobbery. She's slobby, not slobbery. She's slobby, right? She really struggles to keep her house clean. But she had learned some things that were working for her. And so she started this whole thing of, I'm in the trenches, you join me. But even that, she was a few steps ahead of her audience. Mm-hmm. And as she continues to grow, she continues staying a few steps ahead of her audience. So she's been there, done that. She's not currently where her audience is, right? You are not your target audience. You have to be a few steps ahead of said audience.
She still does national syndications. I see her on national TV shows all the time. She has a huge YouTube now. She is guest everywhere. Like, Yes, she has stayed. My point in telling you that is she has stayed 2 to 3 steps ahead of people, right? And she helps people solve their problem and their struggle.
Right.
That's what we're doing here. Okay. All right. And the number one lie that we see over and over again in this space is people want to know about you. Okay. So the myth is share your story. Your readers will flock to your blog. They want to know everything about you. And it's a lie. The truth is, readers come to your blog for you to solve their problems, not to learn about you and your life. Is that going to happen along the way? Yes, it will. But they are not there to, Kelly, tell me everything about you. I just want to know everything about you.
At the end of the day, y'all, they don't care.
It doesn't help them, right? They have a problem. They need a solution. They don't care about Sam Walton's story. They care if his prices at Walmart beat the prices at the competitor.
Until they do, though.
Right.
But you've got to solve their problems first. Mm-hmm. Because not everybody can be famous for being famous. Okay? That's not common. And the Kardashians weren't famous for being famous. Okay? Their daddy was an Olympic medalist. That's how the whole thing began. Y'all have to understand, they weren't just famous for being famous. He was an Olympic medalist. Okay. That's how the whole thing starts. That's where he started in his group of people. Everything starts somewhere. We don't see that story, right?
The Jenner's dad was an Olympic medalist. The Kardashians' dad was a famous attorney for the OJ trial. So the Kardashians are my guilty pleasure.
Still,
like I don't tell a lot of people that I watch
still,
it, but
still. The point is, there's something that got people there. Okay, they have to get there first. They have to be invested for something first before they care about your life, before they care about what you're doing every single day. Solve their problem first. Now they will start liking you and your personality and your story, and now they're fanatics. But you got to solve their problem first, whatever that problem is, right? Focus on your audience. What is in it for them? Because just knowing you is not helping them. Make it about them. Even when you're sharing your personal experiences, you need to frame your story as a lesson or as an example that benefits the audience. It solves their problem, which is number 3.
Yeah, I'm going to go into solve your problem. Address the common questions or the common pain points that your target audience is going to have through practical advice, step-by-step guides, and actionable tips. So off of what Kelly's talking about, they don't want to know you until they do, right? So we talk about the like, no trust. The trust doesn't come along until they have to trust you, right?
But they have to like you first.
Right, exactly. And so when you start to solve their problems,
they like it. They like their problem being solved.
And you're starting to build that trust with them.
Right? Now you're getting them into your community and into your email list where now they're starting to get to know you piece by piece by piece. Exactly. Which, what happens? Now they trust you.
Yeah. So here's an example. Instead of my travel diary for Paris, right? So we're talking about how we're going to solve problems, right? So you are creating this piece of content and you think they want to know all about you and your travels, and you're maybe you're a single travel person and you think they want to know all about all of that. No, instead, they want to know the perfect itinerary for 3 days in Paris. Solve their problem. They only have 3 days to travel. Solve their problem. They don't care where you were born. They don't care about your upbringing. They don't care that you traveled all the time as a kid. They're going to learn that later. But right now, they need for you to solve their problem. So,
and if you solve it well, then they're going to come back for 3 days in, I don't know.
And then for 3 days in the U.S.
To know before you visit the Louvre. And then can you drink the water in Paris? I don't know, the other things. And as you solve more and more of their problems, now that you become a staple in their household. Well, you know, Kelly at This Couple Travels said, well, I read where Kelly and Ricky, right? Now, Crystal and Kelly, you become this staple. As you become this staple, they learn more and more and more about you, and now they trust you, and now they're going to buy your things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Unlearning these lies is your first step towards creating a blog that grows steadily and serves your audience well. So I want you to take a moment to reflect on these myths and ask yourself, which lie have I believed the most? And what's one truth I can apply to my blog today?
Mm-hmm. And also do us a favor, drop your biggest aha moment in the comments from what you've learned today. We love to hear what resonates with you and how we're helping you, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to solve your problems. We're doing the same thing, right? With just a different audience. So let us know what really resonated with you today. How we know that we need to talk more about hosting is based on the comments and feedback that we get from you guys. Okay. And remember, you've got this. We're here to support you every single step of the way. Nothing makes us happier than to see you guys being successful in this space. Okay. And I want you to remember that blogging is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not a get rich quick idea. You're going to make more money getting a job doing Walmart delivery in the beginning. Okay.
Taco Bell's hiring $14 an hour.
But the truth is, with clear strategies and hard work, you are far closer to success than you ever realized. Keep going. You've got this. We're rooting for you. Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.